Greetings, YouTube. Today I'm going to talk about the Advanced Races Codex series from Green Ronin. This is a series of 5 PDFs, each approximately 30 pages long, and that each deals with a specific race in the 3.5 rules. Dwarves, Elves, Gnomes, Half-Elves, and Humans. Now each is fairly crunch-heavy, presenting a lot of options to the reader. Alternative racial concepts, different roles, prestige classes, feats, spells, magic items, things like that. And I think my opinion of these codex, racial codexes, has been painted by my exposure to Pathfinder. Now, I don't want to get anybody upset. I know I'm comparing two different systems here, 3.5 and Pathfinder, but there are a lot of options in the Player's Handbook and, well, the core book and the Advanced Player's Guide that I think make a whole lot of these codexes superfluous. They just aren't needed to a gamer anymore. There's a lot of ideas in here that I think were translated quite effectively into Pathfinder. I think it's more of convergent evolution. I'm not saying Pathfinder stole these ideas. The concept, of making a particular race a little more gnomish if you're gnomes, or a half-elves a little more flexible if things like that. These are not copywritten concepts. They're just what you do with the core idea of that particular race. Now, I did enjoy reading these documents, and I discovered after having read them, I read these back to back, so I'm 150 something pages, 160 pages of almost exclusively crunch, and I discovered I really enjoy reading D20 documents. The way things are broken down, feats, prestige classes, racial stat blocks, things like that, everything is in distinct little quantas of data. And it's in a measure of data, a quanta that I find comfortable to consume in a short period of time. Because most often when I'm reading these, I'm reading anywhere between half an hour to 45 minutes at a shot. And if it's a large piece of text, sometimes I'm just getting into it when I'm stopping reading. I tend to like the shorter passages because I can pick them up and put them down quickly and effectively. And a lot of D20 products fall in that category, particularly this series of books, PDF documents, really did fall into that category of being easily digested. And I thoroughly enjoyed reading them, even though I'm probably never going to use any of the information in there because I've pretty much completely migrated over to Pathfinder. I still found them quite good. And if you're playing 3.5 and you're looking for more racial options, this series of codexes is going to give them to you. For example, prestige class that allows a dwarven monk to become like stone. Elven subraces, though I freely admit I think that the universe has enough elven subraces. Flexibility for your half-elves, they can become more different things. And you're kind of playing off the whole idea that they are a bridge between two different races. Though I will freely admit, personally, I'm had it to here with half-races. I will never use a half-race again, I can guarantee you that. It isn't that I find anything wrong with some of the mechanics in a half-race. Like half-orcs, I think half-orcs mechanically are great, but I'm tired of races interbreeding. I got sick of it in Star Trek, and now I'm tired of it in D&D. I don't want half-races anymore. And the human section I thought was kind of nice because they had a whole bunch of background information. For example, you could take background choices that replaced the generic bonus feat and bonus skill points, and they gave you specific choices between like 2 different feats, I think it was, and a specific set of skills that you could then spend your skill points in. And because you're limiting your focus a little more, for example, you could be you were a scribe when you were younger, for example, and that would again give you a certain set of feats and certain sets of skills. But because you're making it to focus a little more narrow, less flexible, you would get another bonus. For example, a free feat or skill bonuses under certain circumstances to like a subset of skills. And the more narrow the subset of skills was, the higher the bonus, which kind of makes sense. So I like the background concept. I've really become quite attracted the whole idea of backgrounds for characters of all races, but a human, they seem to be particularly useful because the human, let's face it, is kind of bland. So having different background feats or different background concepts that tailor your character in one way or the other, I think adds a little flavor. It doesn't have quite the depth of a full racial write-up like a dwarf or an elf has, but it definitely gives the character race a little more flavor, a little more interesting to me. So I can definitely say that these are worth your time, particularly if you're sticking with 3.5. If you're not going to migrate over to Pathfinder, if you want to stick with 3.5 and you like any of these races, dwarves, elves, gnomes, half-elves, or humans, this should definitely be something you take a look at. I think it's going to be well worth your time. If you're playing Pathfinder, I don't think you're going to find a lot of new stuff here. I think that you're going to be looking at it going like, yeah, I think Pathfinder covers these bases well enough already. And so, you know, that's up to you. Maybe you're looking for that one thing that Pathfinder lacks, and maybe one of these codexes has it, and you want it for a particular race. Maybe you love gnomes just more than anything else in the universe. Never played a gnome myself, to tell you the truth. I never really attracted to them. Excuse me, I'm still kind of get over my cold. So if you like Green Ronin products, these are definitely good quality, and if you like 3.5 and you like these races, you should take a look at them. I think you're going to get something out of it that you can use, and you know, give them a read. And frankly, I just had a good time reading them.